Media is the main source of information for a large proportion of the public. However, the way in which the media presents information is currently severely flawed. The presentation of unscientific information and the overrepresentation of certain information lead to a spread of unscientific beliefs due to psychological mechanisms. Today I'll be outlining several of these mental shortcuts and how they can lead to the spread of unscientific beliefs. The availability heuristic is the first phenomenon I will be investigating. This is a mental shortcut which operates by categorizing information that is easy to recall as important. One of the media's goals is to maintain viewership. In order to do so, they report interesting topics such as murder and terrorism. However, by frequently representing these news stories, these topics become well embedded in the minds of the public. Due to the availability heuristic, this will lead to an overestimation of the severity of the topic by the public, resulting in fear and social unrest. The availability heuristic is capable of creating a self-reinforcing cycle known as the availability cascade. This occurs when the media presents a story which spreads throughout the public and causes fear. Increased fear levels then lead to increased publicity of the story, confirming and reinforcing the pre-existing fears held by the public. An example of an availability cascade can be seen in the increase of fear after a shark attack. Shark attacks are very rare events, and the media often overrepresents stories containing them. This leads to widespread fear of shark attacks due to the availability heuristic, which leads to an increase of coverage by the media, thus creating a cascade. Another flaw can be found in the way which the media presents controversial debates. The media often allows for both sides of the argument to speak equally. However, this leads to the public believing that both sides of the argument have equal validity when in fact one side may have overwhelming empirical and scientific support. When there are two opposing sides, we have a tendency to believe that the correct stance is somewhere in the middle. This mental shortcut can lead to unscientific beliefs. An example of this equal representation can be seen during climate change debates. Even though one side of the debate has support by approximately 97% of climate scientists, the public is still unsure as to which side to believe. This is due to the equal representation by the media. Final psychological mechanism which affects the spread of unscientific information is the confirmation bias. This is a bias which restricts our intake of information to only that which supports our current beliefs. The presentation of information by the media has already been explained as severely flawed due to the availability heuristic, the availability cascade, and the equal representation of one-sided debates. However, the most influential factor which leads to the spread of unscientific beliefs is the confirmation bias. This mechanism operates in a manner which makes the public ignorant. Once false information has been spread by the media, this is the mechanism which denies the correction of such beliefs. The only way to stop this mechanism from taking effect and narrowing our perspective of the world is to stop it at its source. In order to do so, the media needs to present media in a more scientific manner. Two simple changes can be made to the current media format which would significantly decrease the spread of misinformation. The first is the inclusion of statistics which put the information being presented into comparison. For example, in order to avoid misconceptions about shark attacks, the number of fatalities due to shark attacks should be compared to the amount of deaths from other causes, such as motor accidents. This would put the information into perspective and reduce the amount of fear and social unrest caused by the availability heuristic. The second change is the inclusion of a statistic which represents how well supported each side of the debate is during the presentation of controversial topics. By displaying the number of peer-reviewed journals which support each side, the "it must be in the middle" heuristic will be avoided. These are two simple changes that, if made, could avoid the spread of unscientific beliefs and possibly change the world.